Spider dweeb, you think you can get away from me? Well, you're about to meet a wall you can't crawl. What's he on about? Oh my God. Hola amigos, it's Will here from Will's Custom Figures, coming at you today with a big bad festive breakdown of the one, the only Marvel's The Wall action figure. So please guys, sit back and relax while I talk you through this special Christmas edition of one of my custom action figure. And it really wouldn't be Christmas without some beautiful Christmas accessories. Thank you to Shein. So we've got some lovely presents here, but let's get into it. Why have I made this custom figure? So for anybody that doesn't know, a little bit of an overview. This is The Wall. His first appearance was right back in Spider-Man's Super Stories 25, back in 1977. This is a living anthropomorphic brick wall. It seems absolutely ridiculous, but I'm going to give you a breakdown, how I made him, all the parts, all the details, and everything else in between. And here we go, guys. The Wall, this figure would not exist without this guy. This is, of course, the most iconic and, in my opinion, the perfect Spider-Man of all time. Thank you to Marvel Legends for doing it. Now, The Wall is not going to appear on anyone's most wanted list of builder figures or action figures for 2025. However, this guy he's a limited appearance throughout the 616 Spider-Man universe. He's not the most memorable of all characters. He's not had very crazy, memorable battles and feuds with people over the years. But do you know what? Taking it, like I said, back to 1977, this guy has always been a bit of a cult favourite. Now, I first saw him on the Fwoosh. He was 3D printed, and I didn't really know much about the character. As soon as I saw it, I think it's Robo Don't Know Now, the channel, I thought I need to have one of these in my collection. So I started brainstorming and thinking, and here is just a bit of a comparison while I carry on speaking next to my custom Scorpion figure, of course, also from Spider-Man. It got me thinking how I'm going to actually create this figure. I need him in my collection. I don't have a 3D printer, and it's something that I'm really, really excited to do. So started having a little think about all the different options that I had, and one of the options was the Marvel Select Juggernaut. Now, I don't have a spare one here to show you guys, but that is an absolutely brilliant figure. I love the Marvel Select Juggernaut. So had one of those spare, and it looked like it was the sort of right size and shape for me to use and create my own custom wall figure. Now, he has superhuman durability, he has immense strength. He can smash any object, but of course, the guy is massively flawed. Thank you, Scorpion, and thank you, Absorbing Man, for looking so absolutely badass in front of the wall there. The only problem is with this guy, he doesn't have any arms. Now, that's going to restrict you in your super villain abilities a little bit. And now I'm going to do another couple of comparisons. I thought it wouldn't be a Christmas video without having his good friend Rhinoceros, the good old Rhino, come in. And just let me put these two together next to each other so you can really see the size and scale of the wall. Here we go. And here they are next to each other, guys. This is the Wall and the Rhino next to each other, looking absolutely brilliant. Rhino's brought him over some lovely Christmas presents and a bottle of bourbon to celebrate the Christmas and New Year period. And here he is next to 616 Kingpin himself, of course, the Don of the Spider-Man universe, the Kingpin. Here he is next to Acba from the Xmen universe. God, I love that figure. What a huge, huge, chunky custom. And here he is next to good old Captain America. I don't think that shield is going to work against this guy. And move over, make some room, War, because this is my custom Man-Thing. Good God, I need to do a full and new video review on this guy. What a monstrous pair. And here he is, looking like a beast with good old Weapon X. Some random crows, and everyone's favourite hero, of course, none other than Wolverine. Now, I'm going to clear all this stuff out of the way. Thank you, Toy Biz. Love this, by the way. All these little bricks, thank you to my kids. They had a little brick building set many, many moons ago. And thank you to good old McFarlane Toys for this absolutely fantastic piece. You can see just things like the chain link fence at the back and a couple of little pieces of random fodder really, really do make this action figure stand out. If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you will know that I'm into the wicked, the wonderful, the wacky, the strange characters, the ones that maybe are a little bit more unique and appeal to a more immature audience like myself. Now, he is a funny character. He was for a very young audience. It was absurd. He was a regular brick wall, and from my understanding, came, like the Hulk, in contact with radioactive material and ended up coming alive. Now, in the comic books, I'd urge anybody to check this out. He's coming after this guy, good old Spidey, and he's going to destroy him. He's so powerful. Spider-Man just trips him up, and of course, he's a brick wall. He has no arms. What's he going to do, man? This guy is not getting back up. So absolutely hilarious, hilarious character. And definitely, as soon as I learnt about him, it appealed to me. It appealed to my sense of humour. And I just had to have him in my collection. There was no option not to. Now, to get into the process of actually making him, it was the 2004 Toy Biz Marvel Juggernaut figure. I took the helmet off. I completely removed the arms. As you can see here, the trousers that he was wearing looked really cool, but weren't quite perfect. So I sculpted on some extra layers and material on there to make it really look cool. I had to super glue them in place. I had to fill in loads of little problems, like, for example, around here, the foot articulated. I covered that completely in clay. This is, of course, a statue. It doesn't move. There's not going to be much articulation with something like this. Maybe the head could have moved a little bit, but the comedy behind the character means that the head cannot move anyway. Now, this face is indeed the Juggernaut head sculpt. I'm going to do a quick close-up so I can talk you through the details. Say cheese! Man, there is no smiling from this badass. So this head is the Juggernaut head sculpt. However, it also is not. I used clay. Instead of making him smile, I wanted to make him look like he was frowning. So I've used clay to add on a lip here and to also add on, I'll use my other hand, on this side. So rather than him smiling, he actually looks angry. I thought a smiling wall probably wouldn't look as epic as I wanted it to. Now, you can see that this is very, very nice and textured. I'm going to talk you through how I did it. Now, removing the arms, whoosh, and just leaving the torso and these beautiful legs. The challenge was super gluing everything into position and also getting the head at the right place. So I removed the head completely. Now, normally I would always advocate for using super sculpey clay, but this guy is so big and super sculpey clay is quite expensive. I really couldn't afford that. So I decided just to go with a nice, cheap alternative. So I went to my local hobbycraft store and I found some cheap clay. And I really packed out the body. I used, like I always will with a lot of my Pokemon sculptures, a lot of aluminium foil to really bulk out the size of this. So I'd probably say 90% of inside here is just aluminium foil and masking tape. Then on top, I used the really, really cheap, very, very easy to come by clay. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on for, any customizer. You can buy it on eBay, very, very cheap. And I used that just to start the brickwork. The brickwork, really, you don't want it to be perfect. Of course, the important thing was making sure it looked like everything was meant to be there. So you saw earlier with these little bricks from my kids, they always sort of are in a zigzag. So I just looked at my house. Any kind of construction, you always have 3 followed by 4 or 2, followed by 3, followed by the same pattern, depending on however big you're going to make the figure. Now, I'm going to spin him around just to show you guys. I haven't done that on the back. As you can see, there are little hairline cracks and fractures, which actually, in my opinion, add to the coolness and the unique character of the wall. But this is painted on. I did not want this from the front. I really wanted it to be impactful and look insanely good. Once I started to work on the front, the back became so delicate that the more I worked on it, I originally wanted to, the more it was cracking and becoming more and more fragile. So I just wanted to get this guy cooked in the oven, the air drying clay, which was used in the center, and then the super sculpey that was used at the end was just becoming more and more fragile, I guess because of the weight of the piece. Now, for some of this texture and effect, I actually pressed the raw clay into a brick wall. So imagine this was the wall, just splat it on there, and then I used all of my sculpting tools to carve away this lovely pattern, drawing it on in pencil first. Now, for some of these little effects and big dents that are in here, I used my finger either to scratch or I use my sculpting tools. I've got the stainless steel sculpting set tools that you see on Amazon, and really just dug out a lot of the detail. Let me just show you what those tools look like so you can see. And here we go. Here is some of the tools. So literally just cutting down and then using this to remove, and any kind of issues and errors. So you see like here, scratches and things. It looks really, really cool. When I was moving house, I've moved house 2 times since creating this figure a couple of years ago. Just haven't got around to reviewing it. He got damaged, so the top here, for example, you can see a bit of a repaint that completely scratched off and was white underneath. The more I use, move, and abuse this figure, I put a Spiderman figure when I was displaying him on the top, and I pulled it off, and it removed some of the paint where the plastic and the paint had sort of adhesed together. But it kind of adds to the character. The more worn this looks, the better he looks, in my opinion. Now, with the head, super glued it into position. As I mentioned, added on the lips, the extra detail. I did use Super Sculpey clay for this because I wanted it to really look defined and perfect. Dug my fingers in, dug my tools in, scratched everything as much as I could. Here's a little look at the top of it. You can see like how thick this is. Really, really, really big, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. The paintwork was the Vallejo, awesome Vallejo paints. I used leather brown, beastie brown, used greys, used blacks to get in all the crevices, dry washes, slapping all different colours on there. I think they've got, is it old brown, something like that, another colour as well. Stonewall grey for the centre, for the grout in between. But all this 3D effect here really is lovely to touch and lovely to move around and to feel. I'm bringing the last few classic Spider-Man villains and characters from my collection in. Of course, you have Carnage on the left here. We've got Monster Venom. You know, that is a big figure. Look at the size of him compared to the wall. And of course, we have the symbiote Spider-Man here. Now, bringing these in, I just wanted to do that as a little bit of a thank you. You guys have been such a huge support for me and a driving factor behind me continuing this channel. The kind words and the feedback and everything from Figure Realm and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook has just been overwhelming. So that's why I really wanted to put a lot of time and effort in and make this video, with it being the Christmas season, as absolutely special and something just to say thank you from myself. Now, this channel, I never thought when I started it, and I've got to 1,000 followers. I think it's about 1,050 now, but it has done. And that's thanks to you guys interacting, watching these videos, and hopefully this really is one of the creme de la creme, the most exciting video reviews that I could possibly have thought of doing. Just because of the absurdity, the craziness, the obscurity, a Spider-Man foe that has never been put in action figure form. He's unique. He's a cult favourite, like the Grizzly and Man-Thing and some of these other characters. They're sort of very rarely seen compared to your classics like your Spider-Man, your Wolverine, your Xmen, your Avengers. But he is a one-of-a-kind character and very, very deserving of having his own action figure. Now, what would I rate this guy in reflection? Well, I'd probably give him about an 8 out of 10. I think a lot of creativity and love and passion, making sure he's comic accurate, has went into it. However, the lack of articulation, you know, I'd like the legs to be able to move. I'd like the head to be able to move. Don't know whether or not that's something that the character could do, but I think that would have turned it up a notch for me. Also, having the grout and the 3D nature, like on the front, on the back, and actually making it a little bit more accurate in that respect and consistent across the whole figure. Now, my final reflection, he's a giant. He's intimidating. I would love, absolutely love more than anything, to be able to do custom action figure creation full time. I know some of you absolutely brilliant YouTube channels like Symbiote Seeker, like Shimus Prime, Dave Who Displays Model Behavior. Some of these guys really, really can. Phoenix Force Creations, they're another one. They can do this full time, potentially. I don't know all the specifics behind it. Robo Don't Know, as I mentioned, inspiring this video. I absolutely love creating action figures. And this guy has been an absolute treat for me to showcase here today and for me to work on. So what is next? What's next for the channel? Well, I've got lots of WWE stuff coming up. I've got DC's The Ventriloquist Figure. I've got my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube with lots and lots of other features and lots of other pictures and characters and content such as YouTube Shorts and things like that are coming. I also have Malekith. I have a custom Predator. Damn, guys, I can't wait just to get this video review out to you all and for you guys to see it, and also to give me your feedback and thoughts on how I could have improved it and make the next one even better. So please, guys, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching for what, 15 minutes plus now. I really appreciate it. And speaking of appreciating it, I know someone who really does. This guy. I appreciate it. Adios all and Merry Christmas!